miss you, Jordan. This message is for you. And I'm recording it live video on Facebook and audio, and I just hope you get it. Don't take your mom's word for it if she says, I didn't say anything important, or there was no video. You'll see why in a minute. I wrote down a few things that I need to talk to you about. It's been a long time since we talked, and I think you're in danger. Remember, my father brainwashed me and didn't let me even think about his abuse or assaults until a couple of years ago. So that means a whole lot of different things. And I think that you were harmed, and you might not know it when you stayed at his house, my house, back in 2011. Remember, your hair was singed, something happened, my mom said you have something stuck in your hair, they had to cut it out, and then you started having vision problems when you left, and you needed glasses, according to your mother, because that's when we split up and we lost touch. But that's not normal. I went to the eye doctor to see something that I didn't know in my conscious memory until after it happened, because I was forbidden to think about it, was that my father wanted me to be blind in one eye, and he made a big deal about it in childhood, and my mom fought him about that and many other things. But he wanted me to wear an eye patch and be blind in one eye, like he blinded himself in one eye with a laser that he took from his father, who was in the Navy. And he blinded his brother Casey too. And like I said before, Jordan, if you ever saw the other video I made talking to you, I would have never said okay to let you stay at his house, my house, if I would have known in my memory, conscious memories, that I was abused there and that he had plans to do other abusive things to me. I would have never ever put you in harm's way. And he tried to manipulate me, and he knew it. And he knew what he was doing. And my mom wasn't really so much complicit as just trying to go along with my dad's twisted plans, because she felt it was her Christian duty to stay with him and be married to him, even though he raped her, until she died in the surgery, colorectal surgery, trying to fix it at Grossmont Hospital. But I'm starting to remember some things that I was told that I could never remember, because there's basically two sets of information, one that I was supposed to not remember until late 2024, and one that I was never ever supposed to remember. So one thing that I was never supposed to remember was that he's got some sort of machine where he thinks he could read people's mind, but he has to kind of hook you up to the machine first. And you have to say some words into it, and he's got to look at your brain waves, and it records them. And then it looks at your brain waves in the future when you're just thinking and not speaking, and then it's supposed to be able to tell what you're thinking about. That's what he told me and my mother. I'm going to tell you about all kinds of interesting, wild things that I would know nothing about if it weren't for him telling me what he was going to do to us and did to us. But that was one thing, and I think all of these things could have happened to you, or they still could happen to you. You know, when I remember, Jordan, what I said when we talked at CPS before I left, and because your mom got so much custody, and I hated California and her, I said, I'm gone until you turn 18, and then I want to talk to you and spend time with you and be there for you and with you and know you. But I wasn't going to go through her, because she lied to me and betrayed me. And I wasn't going to stick around in San Diego, because I didn't trust the police here because of what happened to us and our family. And they were complicit. And so, you know, I left Long Beach for a couple of years, moved to Hawaii for a bunch of years, and then I came back, like I said I would. I saved up money, and I came here, remember, when you were 18, and I called you, and we talked for like 5 seconds. And it sounded like the phone was ripped out of your hand. And I called the police and had them do a wellness check on you. And you said that you were okay and that you would call me. That's what the police said, and that you never ever called me. So I don't know what kind of message you're trying to send with that, But I know I love you, and I was always there for you and did everything I could to be a great father for you, until they broke down our door, took you away, and threw me and your mom in jail. And then I didn't have a chance to do that anymore. But I took a 1 misdemeanor plea deal. I think your mom did too, and it was expunged off my record, so I have a clean record. I don't have any warrants. I don't have any outstanding tickets. I don't have any felonies. I don't even have a misdemeanor anymore. It was expunged through the Fresh Start program in San Diego. So, anyways, I'm concerned about you. I don't understand why you didn't call me back a few years ago, and now I haven't talked to you in a very, very long time. And so I've got a couple addresses where you might be, and I have written letters to them trying to get in touch with you. One of them is, the Lancaster house where the Hamalians live, where we've been together. The other one is in Fawnskin. I heard your mother may have remarried, and you may be there now. So if you can't get in touch with me, I'm going to rent a car, and I'm going to drive up there and find you. I'm really concerned that you're in a bad position, or something's gone wrong, or you're being held somewhere against your will, or that my father is hurting you, because he's hurting me on a daily basis with his weapons. And I have sound mental health. I see doctors on a regular basis, and I know what's wrong with me, and I don't have mental problems. But I have a father who's confessed to me and to his family about military stolen weapons, illegal weapons that he used on himself and on them and on my grandpa, and said he was going to use on me. And I think that he might have used them on you, and I think he might have plans to use them on you more. He used them on your mother, on her nipples. They work off of scar tissue. He stalked us at our apartment in Linda Vista and used the weapon there on her. And eventually, I think he told her. And Jordan, eventually, I think my father made your mother sign a non-disclosure agreement. And right now, she can't say things to you that are true because she has money from my father. So you really need to talk to me, okay? I don't think you're safe at all. I think you're being lied to. And I haven't even talked about religion. Let's not even bring that into it unless you want to. We're just talking about predators and a pedophile and rapist that's trying not to get caught and has crazy plans for you and for me. And this idiot wants me to have another kid. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's what I need right now. Another kid for him to hurt. Because my mother said that he attacked me ever since infancy with his laser. And I have marks from head to toe to show it. And he's got another weapon as well. And my grandpa warned me. He pulled me aside and said he can't control him and doesn't know what to do. But that don't get angry at him when he comes after me, because he's done it to all of them. And he said he would probably be long gone and dead by that time. And I know, so I wrote down a bunch of things I need to talk to you about. I'm going to zip through this video and tell you. And then I want to talk to you for real, like on the phone, and see you in person. And we need to have some time. Go to a shopping mall and just sit there and talk, or a coffee shop, or anywhere. But we need to catch up. I need to know if you're okay. My numbers, I'm going to tell you my phone numbers. They're 619-333-8297. That's Google Voice number. I'll have it forever probably. Text it, call it, voicemail. My cell phone, 619-818-5108. My email, playguitarusa@gmail.com. Those are great ways to reach me. So I've told the authorities about what my father is doing, and I'm not content with stopping. I've even written the governor, and I'm going to send the governor a copy of the book that I just published, because I talk a whole lot about it in poetry. It's the way I figured out how to get out of it, how to get it out of me. See, he wants to get away with all kinds of crimes, and I'm just simply not going to let it happen. He's already confessed to me what he did and is doing, and he raped my mom to death. So I'm never, ever, ever going to let it go. I tell him to turn himself in to the police or kill himself. And if he doesn't, then I'm going to kill him. And I would have already killed him if I could have bought a gun. And I don't talk to this, there's nobody else on earth I would kill. And I don't talk about killing people lightly. But this guy is a very, 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 very evil person. And like all those times that he was in church, he was thinking about how to hurt me. And he raped me until he started raping my mom. And then he cheated on her with some other guy, fucking him in the ass at work every day. And she hated that too. And on and on and on and on and on. It's a really sick, perverted, disgusting series of events that are still ongoing to this very day that my father is doing to me and my body with his machines. I told the sheriff, I told the police, and I've written them letters. There's very good documentation of what's going on. Some of it's kind of primitive because, and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's a college flunk out with shit for brains that pushes a button on a machine that he shouldn't have. And he mocks me. My mom, remember I told you in a video, I hope you saw it, that my mom said that she heard voices in her head in the kitchen that was my dad talking to her, and it was based on a machine that he used. I don't know if it was in conjunction with an implant or not. My father said that he could do that to people like at Starbucks or places that wear those headsets, those mouthpiece headsets, and they work like a radar or whatever, and just accept he can just zap his words into their head if they're wearing that. That's what he said. And so I've heard his voice, and also I've heard other voices. So apparently he has the ability to record and play other voices. And so if you're hearing voices, Jordan, my voice, his voice, other voices, that is what is happening to you. His sister talked about it too, Becky. And I'm rest assured she's bribed and afraid and expecting an inheritance or whatever when he dies, and that only wants to talk, under oath. But there are people that do want to testify, like his sister-in-law, my uncle's wife, and her. That will. It's going to snowball. All these people are going to testify. And I've already filed 2 lawsuits. He's hiding right now from the process server for one of the lawsuits. He may have infected you with worms in your sleep. If you have dark circles around your eyes for no reason, it is the worm infection. I'm suing him for that. His brother Casey infected him with worms, and he infected my mother and me. And that was another thing that I wasn't allowed to think about either. And so I hope to God he didn't do that to you, but he might have. I've been on 3 rounds of antibiotics to try to get rid of them. And I just saw the doctor again, and I'm going to get a stool sample, and looking at ivermectin or some other kind of medicine next. But he used to talk all about these goddamn worms, and because he had them for so long and he couldn't get rid of them. But he's got one of his military weapons, he says, can kill them in the adult stage and the larvae stage, just not the egg stage. So he's been hitting himself in the face with the laser to reduce them and get them and keep them there, which makes his face look like an old bag. And he's got these droopy eyes and these bags under his eyes and these chins under his neck. He was hitting my mom with some sort of wave energy weapon that he got from Uncle Ross, he's an Air Force veteran, from somebody that he knows, is what they apparently decided to tell me, because they're pretty sneaky about it, mainly my father, where exactly he got all these weapons and things. And I think there are other weapons and things that I don't really know about them and about where he got all these things. But the one Navy laser that my grandpa had, he was in the Navy, and that's a certainty. And I've contacted the Navy in recent days and told them in no uncertain terms exactly what this man has done to me And he's even done it to himself. So my mother said, you know, when you end up suing him one day, you know, have them look at his body. And I'll do that too. I've already looked into it. You know, there's a way that you can make him get tested, and it's the same worm that he has that I have. He called it the family worm. You know, because my uncle, but that's the thing though, my uncle doesn't have them. So he gave it to him. He's just an idiot. And it's a really disgusting thing to have, and it's really a terrible, wrong thing for him to do, which is why I'm suing him for $12,500, which is the maximum you can sue for in small claims court. And he's ditching that service. He has accepted the service for the money that he owes me for the last place I lived, because he said that he would pay for it, and then he stopped all of a sudden. And so I still owe them a few months of rent. And that is in September 21st. And then the other one is supposed to be in October. But if the sheriff can't serve him the third time, I'm going to have to ask the judge for an extension, and probably going to have to serve him for the second one at the first one on September 21st. Just guessing, that would probably be the way to do it. But he's putting it off because he's scared and he wants to slow these things down. You're allowed to sue twice a year, and I said this on a video too, and he's stalking me, I'm sure, listening and watching these. But how you're allowed to do 2 a year for that much money on a fee waiver in small claims court here. And so they discussed me suing him for all these things he's done to me, head to toe. You know, it's really unbelievable, all the terrible things he's done. And there are witnesses too, people that my mom told. So please check your body for laser marks. There's these marks like this all over my body. They're hard to see, but they're there. And my mom thinks they can be proven to be, you know, given to me over 4 decades ago. And yours were given to you, if they were given to you by my father, 14 years ago. So just look at your body head to toe and tell me if there's any suspicious marks that are roundish, because those were done by a laser by my father. And then he has another weapon, like a wave energy type weapon, that bounces off those scars and hits tissues nearby. He lasered my entire body and my mom's entire body after raping us. And he's been hitting us with the other weapon. He did it to her to make her legs blow up and inflame and slow her down, she said. And he's been doing it to me because I'm seeking justice and standing up to him. And he wants me out of the way. My mom told me, remember, I hope you heard the video where I said, you know, she wanted me to tell everybody I know after I turned 50 that he's trying to kill me. And so I told a whole bunch of people that. It doesn't really get you that far. But the police's final resolution in El Cajon was that it exceeded the statutes of limitations, so they couldn't pursue the criminal case. But like I said, Jordan, he's confessed to all these things. I know what he's doing. His family knows what he's doing. So I'm justified to retaliate, and I'm going to retaliate. It's just a matter of time. And it's just a matter of how and when. I don't want to do it where anybody else gets harmed. I don't want to do it in a way where I go to prison forever. I want to do it in a way where the truth is revealed right away, that I had to fight back because he had been hurting me with these weapons. And his family will testify. You know, his family doesn't want to screw around, doesn't want to reveal military secrets, and doesn't want to reveal their own shame, but they're not going to lie under oath to a judge about everything. And believe it or not, they even talked to me about this when I was a kid. At least Casey did, decades ago, about him testifying and what he would say and not say and do. Because it is a little tricky, right? Because they don't want these secret weapons to be revealed, and also he infected my father with these worms. So he may not feel real comfortable revealing all these things, but that's my father's depravity and his angle. And my mom thought my uncle would do the right thing. And maybe this whole story is more about him. And war for his soul about whether, he can come to grips with telling the full truth, even though that may indict him in a way. Because, my deranged father wants to intimidate him and make him think that he'll get sued if he, admits to infecting my father with worms on the stand. If, I won this lawsuit, what would stop him from winning that lawsuit? Maybe even for more money, who knows? But ultimately, I think principled people are going to influence the judges, and the truth is going to be known. So you may have an implant inside of you, Jordan. My mother said my father wanted to give me and her implants and tried to give us implants. He may have stuck an implant in you in your nose or in your ear while you were sleeping at his house. If you're hearing strange voices and things, there's a chance, an even better chance, that happened to you. I think that I have an implant that was way down in my eustachian tube that the audiologist and the ENT were both unable to find. However, my father said that he gave me a deviated septum with the laser, and the ENT did confirm that. I indeed have a deviated septum. And it was because he used that goddamn laser on my face when I was a little tiny kid. And you might have one too. So I suggest you go look, you have it in the ENT, look at it. Mine here in La Mesa has this awesome camera, and he showed it to me and took a picture of it. I even think I stuck it on Instagram. And also, I think that both lawsuits that I filed are on Instagram. So if you want to see the dates, if you want to be there, check it out. I posted it not too long ago. I'm going to Greg Giles' eye doctor here in a week or so. He's the one that has the machine that showed me that this one eye of mine has no optic nerve anymore, which is my father's doing. If there's anything whatsoever wrong with my healthy eye's optic nerve, I'm going to kill him immediately. I suggest that you see an eye doctor and have them look at your eyes and your optic nerves and make sure that they're both there and they're both healthy. If you have twitching in your eye or any of your muscles anywhere on your body, then that's what one of his weapons can do, and that's a precursor to what may happen to you, and you may end up losing visions even if you haven't already. It doesn't happen immediately. And that reminds me, my father is a psychopath. Remember, I have a BA in psychology, and I diagnosed him as one after learning what that meant. And some of the things he's doing, he said he was going to do. And also, he had all these metaphorical pains that he was going to send me and cause me. So he's marked my body head to toe with lasers, and I can see them and show you the marks. And then he hits them with another wave-type weapon and makes different pains that are supposed to send different messages, because he's a goddamn sack of dog shit. So he sends me all kinds of messages all the time that are absurd, selfish, worthless, scared, pitiful. And so he may be doing the same thing to you. He may be such a goddamn moron that he did the same exact thing to you, and he's been sending you messages, or will, that you won't know what in the hell they mean until you hear this video or me tell you what they mean, because they're just dumb. Oh yeah, I was going to mention to you, my father never invited me to the memorial service for my mother that was at Shadow Mountain Church. And that just dawned on me too. So remember, I was living in Maui at the time, and I talked to her before surgery, and she wasn't supposed to die in surgery. It wasn't supposed to be that big of a surgery, that big of a deal. And so I got this terrible, terrible chain of emails one by one from my father, just talking about her basically going downhill after the surgery in the hospital before she could even leave. And them running tests, and her, just everything that happened. And think he broke into my computer and stole the last picture of her that was on it when he came out to scatter her ashes in Maui. And that was against her wishes too. She wanted to have a plot here in El Cajon and be buried here so people could see her and visit her, and our family could do it. But see, my father didn't want me connecting with those people when she died at Shadow Mountain because she told them about the abuse that she suffered. And I was still brainwashed at the time and didn't realize what had happened to her and happened to me. And I didn't realize that he was going to make sure that she passed away. And she died of sepsis. That was his official cause. He said that the surgeon accidentally cut her small intestine during surgery and sewed her back up and then realized it, but it was too late. I don't know, he talked about poisoning people when I was a kid. I think maybe he might have poisoned her before she went in. And she looked very, very pale and ghostly white. And I think that's why he deleted the picture, because he just said, oh my God, this lady looks like she was dead before the surgery even happened. And she was standing next to the bed and like frozen, which is also like he had some weird, stupid, gay thing he would do when he would want to rape her in the rear end. He would tell her to freeze, and it looked like one of those moments. Remember, it was colorectal surgery that she said he made her call like diverticulitis surgery because he didn't want anybody to know that it had to do with her damaged rectum, because he damaged her rectum and he damaged my rectum, and he was to blame for the surgery and her death. But I suspect that he slipped her some kind of liquid that had something harmful in it, either right before the surgery, the night before, day before, or in the days before. Remember also, they sewed her colostomy bag on her body upside down, and it had a leak. And he's a germaphobe, and he only has vision in one eye that's not even that great. And he was freaking out, thinking it was life and death for him, if these germs infect him. So I wasn't living there at the time, but I imagine they were fighting and arguing, especially when she needed the support. Probably wasn't a good thing. And I do think he had a hand in her death. And he made it clear throughout my life to her, strangely, in front of me several times, that he'd be dead by the time that I remembered these things, that she'd be long gone. And she sort of accepted it. And it was really sick and weird and gross. Like I said, though, she thought it was like her Christian duty to stay with him and never divorce him. And she thought that she was actually saving people from getting raped by letting him rape her. I know that's sick and sad and crazy. But I hope to get these people from Bible study to testify that she went there with, because I know she talked about these things to them. I bet she talked about them to her therapist too, the one that she saw when she took off a year of work after the Granite Hills shooting, since she was working as a secretary and she was affected by it. My father's therapist, he actually died. So I'm not entirely sure how to get those records unless from his estate, but those I'm sure would be condemning as well. So like I said, if please respond to this video. I haven't talked to you in so long. I miss you and love you. And if I don't hear from you, I'm going to come find you. I'm going to rent a car and come find you. Because I can't, what am I going to say? What am I going to think or feel? The last time we talked, you got the phone wrestled from you. I called the police. They did a wellness check on you, and you said you call me, and you never called me. I told you I'd be back when I was 18, and I told you why, and that's what I did. I kept my word. So, like I said, my dad is a crazy psychopath. He belongs dead or in prison, and I think he may have hurt you in the past, and I think he wants to hurt you again. And you may not even know about it, because he's done it in my sleep. He's done it in my mom's sleep. And so he may have done it in your sleep when you stayed the night at his house. I hope to God he never did anything at all to you, especially, and hopefully nothing worse than that. But I'll get a picture when I go to Dr. Giles and get on his machine of my eyes and the optic nerve that I have and don't have, and I'll put it on my Instagram page so you can see what I'm talking about, because it's gone and it's puzzling in a way, except for I know what happened because I remember the night that it happened. It kind of like I saw all these colors and it was melty looking, and then this figure sauntered on away, which I think now in retrospect was my father. And then I went blind about a week or two later at a cafe in Hollywood. So I think that those two things were obviously related, and it was obviously related from blinding me from childhood like he said he wanted to do, because he blinded himself and his brother. And my mom said, don't do this to him. They argued about it. And she said this was a terrible, terrible thing for him to want to do to somebody. And he was saying that the worst, it could probably cause me to have to wear glasses. And then they argued about that because she said, well, we didn't want him to wear glasses. We thought that would not be something he would want to do or need, and that would slow him down. And I did. I was prescribed glasses by my eye doctor because one eye is 20/20 and one eye is 20/60. And the good eye was better than that, and it might be a little worse now. It was 2015. And so what's happening is the bad eye is making the good eye worse. And so it really does help to wear an eye patch and isolate it. But I don't know. I'm sick of wearing an eye patch, and I don't want to give any credit or anything to the moron that did it to me. I wish you could have seen my grandpa and his face and what they did to his face, like with the laser. And I think my cousin, do you remember your cousin, my cousin Bonnie Gastrich, Ross's daughter? Ross, Air Force veteran, that got at least one weapon from my father. It looks like he used that on her. He may have used it on his wife too. She died young, and she used to smoke cigarettes. And my dad said, if you smoke cigarettes, you're done. If you've got one of these machines, that he can cause cancer with it. So don't smoke cigarettes, Jordan. I don't know if my father wants to kill you or not. He might want to kill you, Jordan, because of what you know and because how you could testify against him. He's very, very, very scared of going to prison because he thinks that he's going to be raped in prison because he raped me and my mother, and he said that's what people do to pedophile rapists in prison. And my mother said, maybe you'll like it. And he said, no, he won't like it. So, yeah, I think he's paid off a whole lot of people with non-disclosure agreements, including, remember Pastor Howard Everett? I think he's one of them. And he's so dirty and he knew it, that he tried to tell me that about my father's crime, and told me that he told the owners of the property at that church. Remember where I used to rent an office on Linda Vista Road there at Calvary Baptist Church? Well, he told the property owners there, he said they'll be there and around and live forever. He said, don't even talk to him. He won't be able to say anything about my father's crimes and things. But they caught him in the parking lot with some sort of weapon that he was using to cause me muscle spasms and pains in my office. And they thought he was some kind of stalker, pedophile weirdo because they had vacation Bible school there. So the pastor, I think he gave them some money and made them sign a non-disclosure agreement, Howard. And Howard said he had to tell the property owners. And I don't know, Jordan, but it's really hard to nail pedophiles and rapists, especially after they've gotten away with it for a long time. Now there are laws in California that prevent the statutes of limitations from stopping investigations, but stuff that happened a little bit longer ago doesn't actually fall under them, and they need special permission, like from the governor, which is why I wrote Gavin Newsom. I interviewed Gavin Newsom in the Viking newspaper when I attended Long Beach City College. Remember when I was there from 2012 to 2014? He was the lieutenant governor. And I'm going to send him a copy of my book, so maybe he remembers me. Maybe he'll say that the police can pursue this case, even though it's past the statutes of limitations, because it happened and he hasn't quit. There's a lady from church that wants to testify. She knows all about the worms issue. My mom told her, I know her name, and she's still alive, and I know her son. And there's Casey, there's sister, Casey's wife, Rayanne, and I'm going to talk to Bonnie as well. She's severely underweight, and they thought something was wrong with her, and that's quote unquote, that's what my mom would say, like they thought something was wrong with her. And in retrospect, it looks like he was using that weapon on her. And my dad, I think he knows it and consented, but didn't want to really talk about it because he didn't really think it was very flattering. He thought that she looked gaunt. And you know, this dawned on me because I spoke to her. She works at a place where I'm always at, and so I see her sometimes. And I was shocked when I first saw her here in El Cajon, but it's like, oh my God, are you Bonnie? She told me that she weighs so little that she might not be able to donate plasma even. So which means she said she weighs like almost 110 pounds. And she doesn't try to, and she's not short. And so she's had health issues, weird health issues for a very, very long time. And I saw on her forehead the laser marks. My father said he made marks all over me with laser. And these marks here, he said, he made. See, right here? I don't wear glasses. These are marks that people get when they wear glasses. And I saw them on Bonnie's face when I was talking to her in the office a few weeks ago. And because I noticed, because she puts makeup on them and she exacerbates them with her makeup. And they're the same kind of like laser scars that I have, that I was given, that I've been putting coconut oil in, you know, trying to make not age and not look bad. So I hope to talk to her and see her and go hang out with her and find out a little bit about what's happening, because my mom said that her father used these weapons on me on at least one occasion, and I'm seeming to remember these things because my father was present when I felt these things that my father has been doing. And if it's true, he assaulted me during piano recital and during football, which led to some embarrassing moments and some painful problems. So these people are idiots, Jordan, and they're morons, which is why I've told the armed forces, the ATF, the police, the sheriff, the governor. That's why I've made websites about it. That's why I've written books about it. So I hope you clue in. I hope you're around. I hope you're not being hurt. I'm not going to accept silence. I'm going to come find you and make sure you're okay. I love you. Take care of yourself.